Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Quant Network, aka QNT. So with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. So most people are avoiding QNT right now simply because it has not moved in value in a significant way, right? When we go back to 2022, it was a big mover in the summer, surprising a lot of people. Now, after that, we were expecting a major sell-off, and we did get that. But now the overall price has been stagnant, it's been very boring, and for most people, they don't like that. But for that small percentage that actually sees the value in accumulating that range, we will succeed and we will get extremely wealthy off of those trades because typically speaking, most of the altcoins that are boring wake up in a very, very large way and really take the market by storm. Now, I do think that QNT is also going to be doing so, but beyond that, right, long-term quant QNT, it's probably one of the best opportunities in this space that is presented to us today at a very, very low price. And the reason why I say low price is because look at the market cap with the supply ratio. This thing is a perfect altcoin for the long-term path ahead, especially with all of the fundamental information behind it and also even the utility. But of course, like I said, technology, it doesn't matter, right? In the short term, we should be taking our profits and paying ourselves and keeping a moon bag on the sidelines and accumulating during the bear market bottom once we start to see the support build. But regardless, as we look at QNT, most people are avoiding this at a time where as you go all the way back to October of 2022, we've just been going sideways. I mean, there's some spikes in between, but we've just been going sideways. Even when we look at the chart right now, guys, since that spike back in October of 2022, and after the sell-off, we've been ranging for 511 days. Now, as you guys do see, I have this trend line going all the way down. This is on the weekly. We have been in this downtrend for a very long time, and we recently just broke out of it on the week of March 11th. Since then, we've got a retest of that bottom trend line that we've been holding since October of just last year, but this technically goes all the way back to June of 2022. But also, as we look right now, we already backtested the upper trend line, which goes all the way back to the all-time high of 2021. And so far, we have bounced off of it, and we are building some support, it seems, around $120. Regardless, the big thing to focus on is a weekly candle close above $139. But we also have to break out of the $151 level. I would argue that this close up here is even more significant than just this initial breakout above $139. I will not get too excited on QNT until we actually reclaim $152 on this chart. And from there, we really kind of target $175, just like we did back in 2021, before having a retest of this $152 level, before the much larger expansion above $195 to ultimately target the previous all-time high and go into price discovery. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time, but for the most part, QNT still looks very primed on this chart. If we look at the on-balance volume, we've just been ranging sideways, like I said, ever since we sold off back in 2022. Mind you, go back to 2021. Now, there's not a lot of price data here on this Qcoin chart, but if you look back here, it was just ranging sideways, 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 and on balance volume was slightly increasing, but then it ranged and ranged and ranged until we got a big amount of volume coming in. That's what I'm watching for over here, as on balance volume just kind of ranges and ranges. I'm waiting for this to actually increase drastically because that volume will be the volume that allows us to go much higher on this chart and eventually get that big breakout above the 2022 highs, but then also go and target the 2021 all-time highs. So we're watching this very, very closely as QNT just ranges on. This has shaken out a lot of people. A lot of people say, like, wow, QNT is doing nothing while this meme coin and that meme coin are surging. And that's the big problem. Everyone is comparing fundamental utility projects to illiquid garbage. liquidity for Quant is significantly higher than Pepe and Doge and this and that. And when I say Dogecoin, I'm not talking about actually Dogecoin. I'm just saying, meme coin, just to kind of give you guys a perspective. But regardless, let's look at a few things behind Quant. Specifically, let's look at the exchanges and the exchange reserves around QNT. So this is a great statistic because although the price of QNT is not going, extremely parabolic or anything like that, exchange reserves going all the way back to October and November of 2022 have only drastically fallen more and more and more. Right now, currently, exchange reserves are sitting at about roughly 1.5 million QNT. That's the only amount of QNT on exchanges. And this is at a significant low. And what's funny about this is most people are not prepared for what's going to happen with QNT, especially as a lot of retail demand comes in. Remember, the big thing that I've always been focused on when it comes to any project is the exchange listings. At a time where altcoins are just about to start their big wake up, right? I've been talking about this with XRP. I've been talking about it with Casper. I've been talking about it with any altcoin. Altcoins are not yet primed. We're not in alt season. When alt season happens, and if your altcoin is listed on Coinbase or Binance or a big, very large exchange where retail has major access to it, guess what? If it's a top gainer, retail doesn't even care. Most of the retail crowd, they are uninformed. They're uneducated on what's actually happening, so they'll just buy into the hype. So even if QNT might not be, fully hyped up with the retail crowd, it doesn't matter. If they see it as a top gainer, they will FOMO into it on Coinbase. This is why I say most people are not prepared, because if we start to see a major alt season, and if QNT is the top gainer, the exchange reserves will come in clutch to understand and know at that time. But outside of all of this, right, we're talking more so short term. What about long term? What is going on behind Quant? Well, let's talk about it. ISO TC307. There was an article written back in 2017. It was May 24th, 2017. It's a very long time ago now. We're talking about almost 7 years ago. It's pretty insane. Blockchain technology set to grow further with international standards in the pipeline. Now, if we scroll down, we can see that this is talking about ISO TC307. This was a major meeting, and this is around blockchain and electronic distributed ledger technologies recently held in Sydney, Australia, brought together international experts from over 30 countries to set the future course of standardization in this area, forming 5 key study groups for standard development: reference architecture, taxonomy, and ontology, use cases, security, privacy, identity, and smart contracts. Mind you, do I need to tell you guys that Gilbert Verdian, the CEO and founder of Quant Network, is one of the creators of this standard. Quant is the big name behind this standard. For anyone that doesn't know that, yes, they are the big ones and the pioneers behind this. And as we really look at this, right, this is that harmonized standard that is going to put things into perspective around adopting, utilizing, and realizing in the value behind this technology. That's why I always say, everyone wants to look at meme coins as this great thing. And listen, meme coins have their place in this market at the current moment in time. It brings in liquidity. It provides volume in the space. But at the end of the day, they're pretty much zero value added. The big thing to focus on with this space, long term, right, is how technology is implemented. There's a lot of obstacles in the way. This is why most people that are sitting around saying, why isn't the price of XRP or, HBAR or QNT or this altcoin or that altcoin, why isn't the price going up when we already know all of these connections back to this company? Is this just one big scam? Were we, being sold this fairy tale? No. You got to remember, there's obstacles in the way to adopt and implement and utilize these technologies. And some of those obstacles are standardization, regulations. These are things that are crucial to have in place. And that's why when we look at ISO TC307, right, everyone loves ISO 20022. ISO TC307 is a huge thing to focus on for blockchain and even DLT. This is why I say Quant is at the top of the game. If you're looking at the food chain, Quant is right up there at the top because of this. And for anyone that wants to do a little bit more research on this, you guys are more than welcome to. I mean, this is one of the biggest standards behind Quant, behind blockchain, behind DLT, you name it, because it's not just Quant, it's not just DLT, it's everything. For an example, look at the structure here. You have digital currencies, DLT and carbon markets. You have foundations, smart contracts and their applications, governance, use cases, interoperability, non-fungible tokens, you name it. And these are all the different working groups behind this. Now, again, for a lot of you that have been watching the channel for a while, you already know about this stuff because we've talked about it on multiple occasions. But for some of those individuals that are new to the channel, or maybe you're new to this and you don't know about it, ISO TC307 is one of the big missing puzzle pieces for the entire, realization of getting DLT and blockchain implemented on a global scale. But also, just recently in October, there was a great article written by Courtney Hall. Now, I shouted her out on X a while back because of her Medium post. If you don't know, I suggest everyone go follow her already on Medium. She only has 12 followers. It's insane. But anyways, this is ISO 20022, ISO TC68, and ISO TC307, a unified approach to DLT integration and financial infrastructure. This is a great Medium post because it gives us everything in terms of the core foundation behind standardization that needs to be in place to realize in this technology. So we have these 3 standards being mentioned. They're integral components of this groundbreaking effort. These standards and committees are instrumental in shaping the future of financial transactions and ensuring a globally accepted framework for interoperability. ISO 20022 is the backbone of modern financial messaging. I don't think I need to break this down anymore. You guys already know about ISO 20022. And then ISO TC68 is guiding financial services standards. So this is the Technical Committee 68, International Organization for Standardization, Technical Committee 68. It's a dedicated committee responsible for setting standards within the financial services industry. It plays a pivotal role in crafting guidelines and frameworks for financial messaging and data exchange. Down here, we have ISO TC307. And this is all really kind of alluding to the idea of the unified ledger, which is the big thing that has been being mentioned recently from the BIS. We're going to get to that here in a second. But here we have, on the other hand, ISO TC307 is the technical committee primarily focused on blockchain and DLT. It provides an umbrella for the development of standards tailored to the unique demands of DLT realm. ISO TC307's role in this liaison is vital, as it is charged with the task of translating the needs and specifications of DLT into standardized formats that can seamlessly integrate with ISO 20022 messaging. This translation is key to creating a unified ledger that can effortlessly coexist with legacy financial infrastructure. And this is the vision behind that. So this is where everything can get mentioned, right? We're talking about Quant, we're talking about Casper, we're talking about XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Algo, IOTA, any project that has utility behind it or some sort of value can be mentioned here. The grand vision of this is harmonizing ISO 20022, ISO TC68, and ISO TC307 is to pave the way for a unified ledger. This unified ledger will serve as the bridge between traditional financial systems and the burgeoning world of DLT, ensuring that data, assets, and transactions can flow freely and securely. The unified approach aligns with the broader goals of a multitude of blockchain and DLT projects, including but not limited to Quant, Casper, Zinfin, like I said, all of those projects. These projects are at the forefront of innovation, and by adhering to this universal standard, they are not only ensuring interoperability, but also advancing the mission of democratizing finance and technology. In conclusion, all of these standards represent a significant milestone in the evolution of financial infrastructure. By fostering a unified ledger that seamlessly integrates DLT with legacy systems, these standards and committees are shaping a future where financial transactions are not only efficient, but also universally accessible. The collaboration of these bodies ensures that in a world of digital transformation, no entity is left behind. And this, combined with this video over here, from Gilbert Verdian gives us enough to go off of in terms of this unified ledger proposed by the BIS and IMF, and really kind of has us coming to the conclusion that Quant Network is playing a vital role in all of this. The same way that we can really kind of come to the conclusion that Ripple is also playing a vital role in the evolution of money transfer, and really kind of streamlining the way that we make transactions, the speed at which transactions settle, really kind of bringing in the internet of value, if you will, to realization. But we have CEO and founder of Quant Network, Gilbert Verdian, expands on the unified ledger proposed by the BIS and IMF. There will be a common inter-jurisdictional settlement network. Big shout out to Subjective Views. Does not get enough love on X. If you guys do want to go follow him, it's just at Subjective Views. I'm telling you guys, this guy, I should say, is an incredible individual in the space. Definitely adds a lot of value to this space and the research behind it as well. But listen closely to this video.
Have the need, and they will continue to operate as they do.
One final question on interoperability, and it's this. There's been a lot of interest recently in solving the interoperability problem by building a new infrastructure, referred to as a unified ledger or a single programmable platform. And it's been put forward in different ways by the Bank for International Settlements, by the International Monetary Fund, and it originated even with a private sector initiative, the Regulated Liability Network. Do you see that as a good idea, an obvious way forward?
I do, and having a lot of experience in banking and payments as well, what we see occurring is that there will be a common interjurisdictional settlement network, and that needs to happen as an overlay to the different systems that are being developed. So what will happen is each jurisdiction will either create their own or plug into a nearby settlements network that is being developed, and it could be sovereign, it could be regional, it could be by institution. I mean, one bank might have their own, for example. So what will happen is you plug into your nearest connection based on your need. You either do it yourself, you work with your peers and you co-build and co-design what that looks like, or if there's one that's existing, the way we've got it today in payments, you could connect to an agency bank and they onboard you to the network. So we're going to see that same approach and that same adoption that's going to happen bottom up in terms of domestic jurisdiction connectivity, then up to regional. And then from the regional, you'll have that common layer between the different regions, which is where that settlement network comes in. And yes, there's opportunities to explore mBridge, RLN, and others. And it makes sense for banks to do that because they all have a say. They have the experience and the connectivity of past networks to bring to these new types of networks, and it gives them a common way to interoperate without forcing something proprietary, and it gives them the ability to do it themselves, work with peers, or just connect, outsource that to a provider that you trust and get them to connect you to your nearest regional connection. So we're going to see that occur, but what happens in terms of which one will work, it's to be determined. We don't know, but the industry will decide eventually, because it will be done as a private-public initiative, but it also is driven by all the institutions working as peers in co-designing and co-developing this.
And again, as we really think about this is the goal. This has been always the vision around realizing in all of these different networks, all of these different ledger technologies. This has always been the goal, right? Everyone's always thinking, oh, well, this is from the BIS and the IMF, so they're trying to replace all this. No, they're not, right? Like when you have all of these different ledgers, you have all these different networks, you have traditional networks mixed with the DLT networks and the digital networks. Now you are starting to see fragmentation. That's what we're trying to get rid of, is fragmentation. How do you do that? We have an all-in-one platform, a unified platform. That's what this is. And they've been at the forefront of this for a very long time. ISO TC 307 and what Overledger is, it's mainly, just trying to connect everything all to one on one platform. That's what this really is. So with that being said, to really kind of summarize things up real quick for all of you, as we are starting to see altcoins waking up in the short term, I do believe that Q&T is going to be an absolute winner this cycle. Again, take your profits, make sure that you're paying yourselves, make sure that you are de-risking your investments. And outside of that, long term, right? Keep a moon bag. When we are at the bottom of the bear market, when we are starting to build a foundation, reinvest some of those profits, reinvest into the space, and really kind of look at where we are at technologically and see what's happening around implementation of standardization, regulations, because all of that leads to one end goal, which is implementation and the realization of these technologies into the global system to really kind of make sure that everything is in the digital age. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.